Alright, let's take it back to April 1777. The American Revolution was heating up, but not in the way you'd expect. Picture this, a quiet town, Danbury, Connecticut. The people are getting by, living their lives, and helping the Continental Army store supplies. But then, bam! British troops show up out of nowhere, ready to torch the place. This isn't some giant battlefield showdown, it's a brutal hit-and-run operation. No warning, no mercy. The Danbury Raid, or as it's sometimes called, Tryon's Raid, was the British Army's way of sending a message: keep this up, and we'll burn every last town down. But this raid didn't just result in smoldering ashes. It sparked a powerful response from local militias, who rallied and fought back in a clash that proved the American spirit wouldn't go down without a fight. Let's dive in. So how did Danbury end up in the British crosshairs? Here's the deal. Danbury wasn't just some random town, it was a supply depot, stocked with food, ammunition, and medical supplies for the Continental Army. Washington needed every ounce of those resources to keep his men fed, armed, and ready to fight. And the British knew that. On the British side, Major General William Tryon, the Royal Governor of New York, was determined to remind the Patriots who held the power. The British had the numbers, the firepower, and a message they wanted to send. So, with orders to hit the Americans where it hurt, Tryon gathered a force of 1,800 British troops and loyalists, boarded ships, and set sail for the Connecticut coast, ready to make Danbury an example. Alright, picture this. It's April 26, 1777, and the British have landed at Campo Beach in Connecticut. They march inland, and by late afternoon they reach Danbury. Now the people of Danbury don't know what's coming. They hear rumors maybe, but no one's expecting an entire British force to come crashing through. Then suddenly, it's chaos. As the British march into town, they seize the supply depot, raiding it for everything they can't carry, and setting the rest ablaze. It's a brutal scene. Buildings going up in flames, gunpowder stores exploding, and families watching their homes and livelihoods reduced to ashes. The British weren't just hitting the Continental Army supplies, they were hitting the heart of the local community. Now here's where the story takes a turn. The British thought they'd hit and run, but they hadn't counted on the Patriot response. News of the raid spread fast, and local militia leaders sprang into action. Brigadier General David Wooster, General Benedict Arnold, yes, that Benedict Arnold, and General Gold Selleck Silliman gathered a force of local militia and Continental soldiers determined to make the British pay for every step of their retreat. The next day, as the British headed back toward the coast, the Patriots engaged them in skirmishes along the way. But the real showdown happened in Ridgefield on April 27. Wooster led a charge against the British rear guard, but he was fatally wounded in the attack. His death only fueled the Patriots' resolve, and Arnold, known for his aggressive tactics, charged into the fight. In one of the craziest moments of the battle, Arnold's horse was shot out from under him, and he found himself staring down British muskets, yet he still managed to escape unscathed. It was like something out of an action movie. Though the British ultimately managed to reach their ships and escape, they'd paid a heavy price. The skirmishes cost them lives, supplies, and morale, and the American forces, though unable to stop the raid, had shown that they weren't going to let the British torch their towns without a fight. So, what was the fallout from the Danbury Raid? On the surface, it seemed like a British success. They destroyed a key supply depot and sent a warning to Patriot towns. But here's the twist. The raid actually backfired in the long run. Instead of intimidating the American forces, it lit a fire under them. The attack on Danbury became a rallying cry, strengthening support for the revolution and motivating more people to join the fight. This raid also marked a turning point for Benedict Arnold. His bravery at Ridgefield earned him a promotion to Major General, and for a while, he was celebrated as a hero. The Danbury Raid proved that the British couldn't rely on scare tactics to break American resistance. If anything, they were feeding it. Today, the Danbury Raid might not be as famous as the big battles of the Revolution, but it's a powerful example of resilience in the face of devastation. The people of Danbury lost their homes and their town, but they didn't lose their spirit. This story isn't just about fire and destruction, it's about a community that refused to be intimidated, a militia that rose to the occasion, and leaders who risked their lives to defend their people. The raid also reminds us of the cost of war for everyday people. It wasn't just soldiers on the battlefield. It was entire towns, families, and communities caught in the crossfire. The Danbury Raid is a reminder that in the fight for independence, it was the determination of the American people, from generals to townsfolk, that fueled the revolution. So, what's the takeaway from the Danbury Raid? It's that sometimes the enemy's biggest weapon, fear, can backfire spectacularly. The British came to Danbury to make a statement, but instead, they created a spark that ignited even greater resistance. The Patriots might have lost the depot, but they gained something even more powerful, a renewed determination to fight for their freedom, no matter the cost. The Danbury Raid is more than a story of fire and loss. It's a story of resilience and courage, showing that even in the darkest times, people will rise to protect their homes, their rights, and their future.